Get ready, because today we are diving deep into DIC.
We're talking all things DISC.
We're going way beyond just the basics.
Down those 4 letters, yeah.
Dominance, influence, steadiness, and compliance, right?
Mm.
We want to really understand the why and how behind those personality types.
Yeah, because it's one thing to know yourself, but when you can use DISC to like figure out everyone else around you,
Yes.
that's when it gets really cool.
That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
And to help us with all of this, to help us break the code, we're using DISC, the complete introduction.
Such a good resource.
So good, right? We're going to be talking about profiles, subtraits,
Real world stuff.
real world applications. Oh my gosh. I feel like just reading this book, it's really,
Totally changed my perspective on it.
it just makes you see DISC in a whole new light.
Totally. It's like you've had this instruction manual for
The
humans
whole time.
and you just didn't realize it.
Okay, so just as a quick refresher for anybody who might be new to DISC or needs a little recap, the basic idea is that we all have these 4 core personality factors, right?
Mhm.
Dominance, influence, steadiness, compliance.
Right.
And how those factors combine, it makes us, well, us.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people think, oh, DISC, is this just like, some trendy personality thing?
Right, right.
But it's actually based on a lot of research.
Yes.
It goes all the way back to like ancient Greek philosophers.
Oh, wow, okay.
And they had their 4 temperaments.
I didn't realize it went back that far.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it's an old idea, but what sets DISC apart is that it's been tested like crazy.
Yeah, it's really been put through the ringer.
Up.
And they've actually done research to back it up, like that root report, right?
Yes, the root report.
I mean, they really put DISC to the test, and it totally holds up.
Yeah, they found some really interesting stuff.
Like what?
Like high Ds, for example, they're 30% more likely to start new projects
Oh, wow.
than any other DISC style.
That makes sense.
It's not just talk, they actually take action,
I think that's so true.
which is great if you need someone to lead the way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I was reading in the book, sometimes those high Ds, if they're not careful,
Yeah.
they can kind of bulldoze people.
Yeah.
It's like my way or the highway.
Right, exactly.
I can just picture like a team meeting, right? Where
Oh, totally.
it's just like, we're doing it this way because I said so,
That's where the other factors come in, though.
right?
Because if you've got like a high D in that meeting,
Oh, yeah.
they're going to be able to navigate that high D's energy.
Right,
They
right.
can smooth things over,
To bring that kind of like,
keep things light.
that fun energy, yeah.
But they're also going to make sure their own ideas are heard.
Because high stages are not just about having fun, right?
Yeah.
They're not just the life of the party.
No, not at all.
I mean, they are persuasive.
Very much so.
The book was saying that they're masters of persuasion.
It's true.
Like, you don't even realize it's happening.
You're like, wait, how did I end up agreeing to this?
How did I get here?
Exactly.
Exactly.
But it's their superpower.
It is. It is.
And they're just naturally enthusiastic, which can be so motivating in a team.
Totally.
But we can't forget about our steadies. Oh, our steadies, yeah.
Those steadies.
Right.
They might not be the loudest voices in the room,
Right.
but they are the heart of the team.
Absolutely.
I was reading that study where they found that high S's were rated as the most approachable
Really?
and the most supportive,
Wow.
which makes them amazing listeners
Oh, yeah.
and mediators, especially when you got those high D's and high S, kind of like
Going at it.
battling it out a little bit.
Yeah.
They're like the peacemakers.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we have our detail-oriented C's.
Oh, yes. The seeds.
They're probably out there taking notes right now.
Oh, for sure. Making sure we're getting all this right.
Dotting their E's, crossing their T's.
Exactly.
Which, sometimes they get a bad rap for being too picky.
Oh, I know.
But that attention to detail,
yeah. So important.
it's what saves the day
Totally.
when everybody else is so focused on the big picture.
And they miss that one little thing.
And they're the ones who catch it.
That could have been a disaster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's usually not this black and white, right?
Yeah.
They're not just one of these things.
Right.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because DISC is not about giving you just one letter.
Exactly. It's about understanding how all of those factors, those 4 factors, how they combine within you.
Okay.
And that creates your DISC profile.
Okay.
And that's where things get really interesting.
So it's like layers.
Yeah, it's like layers to it. It's
Yeah.
like, one of those personality paint by numbers things.
Okay.
But instead of ending up with the same, landscape that everybody else has, you get this totally unique masterpiece.
I love that. Okay, and so just like a masterpiece has layers,
Right.
DIC profiles have those 3 graphs.
Yeah.
The internal, the external, the summary.
Right, exactly. So your internal profile, that's like your core self.
Okay.
Who you are when you're totally relaxed, like no stress.
Like on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Picture yourself on a beach, no deadlines, no presentations, just pure you.
Okay, I like that.
No filter.
So that beach, you might be like, yeah, I'm just going to lay here, soak up the sun, total steadiness vibes.
Exactly.
But then your external profile, that's how you adapt at work, right?
Exactly. So maybe your job requires you to be a little more assertive, take charge and get things done.
Right.
So your external profile might show like way more dominance because you're flexing those muscles at work.
Okay, so you can kind of tailor how you show up
Exactly.
based on this situation.
Yeah, and the book was saying that when those two profiles, your internal and external, are like wildly different,
Yes.
that can be a sign of trouble.
Red flag, red flag.
Yeah, because if you're constantly having to be someone you're not,
Oh, yeah.
that's going to lead to burnout.
It's exhausting.
It's like wearing shoes that are 2 sizes too small,
Yeah.
You can tough it out for a little while, but eventually your feet are going to be killing you.
It makes you think about all those jobs that require people to, like, be on all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And then we wonder why burnout is so high.
Makes sense, right.
So know yourself, people.
Know yourself.
But then we've also got the summary profile, which is like, that's like your kind of your everyday,
Your average, yeah, your default setting.
your default.
And that one's really useful when you're trying to understand, like, how a team works.
Okay, so give me an example of that.
Okay, so let's say you're putting together a team for a new project, right?
Okay.
If you have someone on the team whose summary profile is like, hi D, hi,
Oh, okay.
they'd probably be amazing in a leadership role.
They can handle it
They can take charge, yeah.
because they've got the drive.
Exactly. They've got the vision, the enthusiasm. They're great at rallying people.
Okay, but then someone with more of a high S, high C blend, they might be better suited for.
They're going to be your behind-the-scenes superstars.
Okay.
They're all about the details, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Got it. Okay.
They're the ones who are going to make sure that project actually gets finished on time and on budget.
And that's even before we factor in those like subtraits, right? Where two DISC factors kind of combine. It's like they match up.
Yes. It's like, those hybrid cars that are somehow both powerful and fuel efficient,
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's like they shouldn't work.
Right. But they do.
But they do. They're amazing.
It's the best of both worlds.
Okay, so give me an example.
Okay, so imagine someone who's high in both D and C.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive.
Because D is like go, 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 and C is like,
Careful. Yeah.
yeah, more methodical.
Exactly. But those people, they can be incredible project managers
Okay.
because they've got that drive, that ambition, but they also crave structure and precision.
Oh, I see. So they're not just going to go off like half-cocked.
Exactly. They're going to have a plan.
They're going to get it done right.
They're going to make sure every single detail is accounted for.
Oh, that's such a good point. Okay. I never thought of it that way.
It's a powerful combination.
It is. Okay. What about like a high I, high S?
Oh, they're the ultimate team players.
Okay.
They can build relationships, create a really positive work environment.
Okay.
But they're also not afraid to speak up, advocate for their team.
That's a good point. I feel like sometimes we think of S and it's like, oh, they're just kind of like along for the ride.
Yeah, passive.
Yeah.
But that's not true at all.
No, not at all.
They have strong values.
Right.
And they're not afraid to stand up for what they believe in.
Especially when it comes to other people.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're very people-oriented.
For sure.
Okay, so this is really interesting because we're talking about how all these different DIC styles kind of like work together.
Yeah, it's not about putting people in boxes. It's
Yes.
about understanding the nuances, the complexities.
Right, right. And speaking of nuances, I was reading about how some companies are even using DISC
Oh, yeah?
in their hiring process.
Interesting.
But they're doing it in kind of a cool way.
Okay, how so?
So even for the people they don't end up hiring,
Okay.
they're giving them feedback based on their DISC profile.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that a cool idea?
Yeah, I like that.
So instead of just getting that generic, like, thanks but no thanks,
Right.
they're actually saying, hey, based on your DIC profile, here are some things, you might be really good at, or here's some things you might want to work on.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't that a cool idea?
It's so much more constructive.
It is.
And it can be really helpful for people,
Yeah.
to kind of get that insight into their own strengths and weaknesses.
Especially in a professional setting.
Absolutely. And it can help to avoid bias in hiring.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Because you're focusing on how someone's DISC style aligns with the role,
Okay.
rather than making assumptions based on, their resume or how they dress.
That's a really good point.
It's about finding the right fit.
Right. Right. It benefits everybody.
Exactly. And it makes the company look good too.
Yes.
Like they actually care.
That they're not just like a robot, just spitting out rejection.
Exactly.
Not trying to help.
Yeah, they're invested in people.
And this whole idea of like tailoring your approach based on somebody's DISC style.
Yes.
This isn't just for like HR, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
This is for everybody.
This is for everyone, yeah.
Give me an example.
Okay, so let's say you're trying to, I don't know, pitch a new idea to your boss.
Okay.
And you know your boss is a high D, you're going to want to get straight to the point.
Cut to the chase.
Cut to the chase, exactly. Highlight the potential results.
What's in it for them?
Exactly. Be ready for them to ask you like a million questions.
They're going to grill you a little bit.
They're going to grill you. Yeah, be prepared.
But if your boss is a high I.
High I, you're going to want to bring the energy.
Okay.
Focus on the fun aspects of the idea.
Okay.
The collaborative potential. Really appeal to their social side.
So it's like you're speaking their language.
Exactly. It's like having a cheat code.
For human interaction.
For human interaction, exactly.
And honestly, who doesn't want that?
Right.
So we talked about DIC in terms of teams. We talked about DIC in terms of hiring.
Right.
But what about just like everyday interactions?
Oh, yeah.
Like those trickier conversations.
Like what?
Like when you have to give someone difficult feedback.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example. Because
Right.
knowing someone's DIC style can really help you to,
Tailor your approach.
tailor your approach, yeah, and minimize defensiveness.
Okay, so give me an example.
Okay, so for a high D, you wouldn't want to beat around the bush.
Right.
Be direct, focus on the behavior that needs to change.
But also you have to be mindful of your tone, right?
Absolutely. High Ds can be surprisingly sensitive.
Even though they seem tough.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, what about a high I?
With a high I, you'd want to start by acknowledging their positive contributions.
Okay, so their ego.
Right, exactly. And frame your feedback as a way to help them be even more successful.
Got it, okay.
And avoid being overly critical,
Right, because that would just crush them.
Exactly, it would crush their spirit.
What about our steadies?
For steadies, you'd want to approach the conversation with a lot of empathy,
Okay.
understanding,
Okay.
focus on how their actions are impacting the team or the overall goal,
Okay.
and give them time to process.
They might need a minute
They might need a minute, yeah.
because they're not just going to react immediately.
Exactly, they need time to think things through.
Okay. And our C's.
For Cs, be specific, provide examples, be prepared to answer their questions thoroughly.
They're going to have questions.
Oh, they'll have questions.
Okay, this is so helpful. I feel like this is such a good cheat sheet.
It's a good starting point.
It is, because it's so easy to forget that not everybody sees the world the way that you do.
Right. And that's the beauty of DISC.
It's like that saying, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree,
Yeah.
it'll spend its whole life thinking it's a failure.
Right. Sad fish.
Exactly. And so DISC helps us to see beyond those like limited definitions of success, right? And it helps us see that different strengths are valuable in different contexts.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's about working smarter, not harder,
Yes.
by understanding like the natural talents of the people around you.
Okay, and speaking of working smarter,
Yeah.
I thought this was really cool. The book was talking about how DISC can help you figure out what kind of career you'd be good at.
Oh, interesting.
It can help you identify those careers that are like naturally suited to your personality type.
Oh, that's cool. I feel like we all took those quizzes in high school.
Right.
Like, what should I be when I grow up?
But this is like that, but with DIC.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, you should be an artist.
Right, right.
It's more specific.
Okay.
So like for high Ds,
Yeah.
they often thrive in like entrepreneurial roles,
Okay.
leadership positions
Makes sense.
where they can like really take charge.
Yeah.
High is, they might be drawn to careers in sales,
Of course.
marketing,
Uh-huh.
anything where they have to like be persuasive.
Public speaking, all that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then our steadies,
Yeah, our steady.
they excel in roles that require empathy,
Mm-hmm.
patience,
Patience, yeah.
like counseling, social work,
Makes sense.
or honestly, just being the glue that holds a team together.
Totally.
Right.
That's important too.
So important. And then our C's.
Yes, our detail-oriented friends.
They do well in fields that require precision,
Mm-hmm.
analysis,
Yep.
like accounting,
Accounting, for sure. Yeah.
engineering, software development, that kind of stuff.
I see a lot of C's in those fields, yeah.
I know, right?
It makes so much sense.
It's like DISC is giving you a personalized career map,
That's a good way to put it.
right?
I wish I had had that
I know, me too.
back in the day.
Right. But it's never too late to learn.
That's true, that's true.
And even if you're not in your, like, dream job right now,
Yeah.
knowing your strengths and how to use them can make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in a job you don't love.
It's all about self-awareness.
Self-awareness is key, and it's not just about you, right?
Right.
It's about understanding how you fit into the bigger picture.
How you interact with others.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into DIC, I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
Think about your own workplace,
Mm-hmm.
your own team.
Yeah.
What's one small change you can make today?
Ooh, I like that.
Using this DISC knowledge to improve communication,
Okay.
boost collaboration, or even just make your work life a little bit easier.
Ooh, good question.
Right.
Yeah.
The answer might surprise you
It might.
because we've learned that DISC is a really powerful tool.
It is.
It helps us understand ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps us understand the people around us.
And when you understand each other,
Yes,
that's when amazing things can happen.
exactly.
So good.
So keep exploring DISC. Keep those conversations going.
Yes, keep learning.
Because the more we understand ourselves and each other, the better off we'll all be.
Couldn't agree more.
And on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into DISC. We hope you learned something new, and we'll see you next time.